Hello, everyone. It's 5/31, 2019, and I want to start this video out by mentioning the fact that there's going to be, what I'm talking about today is important as far as warnings from the Holy Spirit go. So uh, I think you'll see as I get into this, there's something what I'm speaking about. First off, I want to mention, talk about Yellowstone. And, this goes back to a dream that I had in 2018, and I did a video on it. And I wasn't specifically told in the dream that the dream was about Yellowstone, but I was on this city street, and during the time that as the dream progressed, the skies started filling up with these really dark, thick clouds, which at first I thought was some kind of a storm or, possibly a tornado or something coming. But as I looked closer during the dream, I noticed that, the clouds didn't look like normal storm clouds. And as the thing progressed, I eventually understood that I was looking at volcanic ash clouds. And then, of course, during the dream on the street that I was going down, I went up to a house and I knocked on the door, and my mom opened the door, and it was her house in the dream, and they had a power failure at the house, and she was taking out bags of frozen food and stuff like that, and she was going to take them out and to put them in the garbage because they were bad. And so she was busy with that. So she asked me if I could come back the next day. And then I said, okay. And then I left there. And then as I continued walking down the street, the skies just continued to fill with, on both sides of the street, fill up with those volcanic ash clouds. And at the end of the dream, when the dream ended, all I could see was a clearing right in the middle of the road. All the way around that whole street was surrounded by, walled in by these thick volcanic ash clouds. And I'm beginning to believe that it could have been, the dream could have been about an eruption at Yellowstone. And so from 12/31/2018, there was an earthquake swarm that was ongoing. And then in January 2019, there was also an earthquake swarm. Let's see, every month since then. In February, there were 84 earthquakes that occurred. 12 hit at one time, just practically, simultaneously. And then in March of 2019, there were 127 earthquakes reported there. In April, there was a 5.0 earthquake that struck just west of where Yellowstone was at, which was the largest earthquake that had been recorded there in years. So I think it gets back to, I was shown the volcanic ash clouds appearing over a street and covering the sky. And when the dream ended, only a small clear patch of sky remained in the center of the street. And I was walking on what I believe the Lord was showing me at that time. A major volcanic eruption will occur in the USA soon. And I believe that it's possibly because right from that time shortly after I had the dream to now, up to today, there's been increased seismic activity there, more so than there's been in any years recently. And so it seems like it's, becoming very active, and it's, I believe they said it was like 15,000 years overdue for a major eruption. So, and then I also believe that if something went there, or let's say some of the people that are predicting like a major earthquake along that Cascadia zone or the San Andreas fault line, that also, I mean, a super, maybe a very large in magnitude earthquake along either one of those things out on the West Coast, that would affect Yellowstone, and vice versa. A major eruption at Yellowstone might affect the stuff on the West Coast and set off like a chain reaction. I do think it usually does because I've watched the channel THESS.5 before, and it seems like if there's a major eruption somewhere, let's say down in South America, it'll affect things up here in our country. So then you'll see some kind of seismic activity up here. The other thing I wanted to speak out on was the two-state peace plan. And I got this off of ILTV Israel Daily Channel. They either did this a day ago or maybe 2 days ago. And they were talking about Kushner and Greenblatt were going to take a trip over to the Middle East and go to a few countries and speak to the leaders there about the economic part of the peace plan proposal. So they were in Jordan yesterday. Jordan is calling for a two-state solution. They had visited Morocco last Tuesday, it said, and attended a meal hosted by the Moroccan king. They are focusing on the economic part of the peace plan right now, and then later they'll get into the political part. They will also visit Israel, which was, so Jordan was 2 days ago, and then they visited Israel, that was yesterday. And the Palestinians are still opposed to the deal of the century. And the Palestinian Authority leader, Abbas, said this week that the Trump peace plan can go to hell, quote unquote. They dismissed the funds being offered. This is the Palestinian peoples I'm speaking on. Russia and China, they're going to have like a peace conference that's coming up here. Russia and China say they will not attend the peace conference. The peace plan may be doomed to fail, and if so, is there another secret peace plan that will be proposed that, Holy Spirit told me there are other plans out there, and the people that have those plans are waiting to see what's going to happen with the Trump peace plan. But it seems to me like that it's looking like that the Trump peace plan is not going to get the acceptance by everybody unless there is a two-state solution. And it may come to that in order to make it, to get it to pass through. And the question is, will Trump and Kushner bow to that situation just to get the peace plan through? And of course, that will be disastrous for us. If there's any part of the proposal would call for the division of Israel, that's going to be disastrous for us. And lastly, I want to speak on, and this is very important, the Gog Magog War. The Bible code says that it will occur in the year 5759, and that was on the Yahoo Glaserson's channel that was published on October 12, 2018. Way back in October 12, 2018, he came out with that Bible code. Iran is the country mentioned in that war. And in Ezekiel 38, a massive coalition of nations will come against Israel. The text declares that God himself will take out these invaders, and a massive earthquake, infighting among the coalition troops. Possibly they will not trust one another. The Muslims may not trust the Russians, and the outbreak of disease and an outpouring of hail and fire are all included in these things that will come from God himself. The Lord gave me Exodus 9:14, so that you may know that there is no one like me in all the earth. The Lord will deliver the Jewish people from this massive coalition. And then this is the real important thing that was revealed to me and pointed out. The burning of the coalition weapons will take 7 years. Will this invasion happen just before the start of the tribulation? And is the Gog Magog war a trigger for the rapture? I believe this to be the case. And then I was given First Thessalonians 5:3, for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And this coalition, the majority of them, I think it says 2/3, something like 2/3 or something. They will not escape. They're going to be killed. And then Israel's gonna spend 7 years burning these coalition weapons that they were going to use against them. And so right now with this peace plan going, a lot of people are opposed to it. A lot of the Arab states are opposed to it unless it calls for a two-state solution. So could it be possible that this very peace plan that they're working on right now will be a trigger for this Gog Magog war, Ezekiel 38? It'll trigger and set it off, which will trigger the rapture. And then after that, the church is gone. Then Daniel 9:27, a covenant with many will be made after this war is, the dust and everything and smoke of this war is settled. Out of that chaos, order will come out of chaos, as the New World Order says. And that could be very well just about how this is going to go down. And so we could be, within months of the outbreak of this Gog Magog war, and that may be why so many people are receiving warnings that, the rapture is at hand and it's about to come. And even in the last year or two, so many people that had dreams that they were seeing bombs going off as we were going up, like some kind of war was going on. So it would make sense, that it doesn't look like the Trump peace plan is going to be ratified by all these countries that need to vote yes for it, unless they include in it a two-state solution. And that's going to spell disaster for us. And that may be why that, we're seeing all the increased judgment, tornadoes, and everything already, because, of course, the Lord knows what's going to happen, what's ultimately going to happen. And I just can't see them agreeing on the thing unless there's a two-state solution. It seems pretty obvious at this point that would have to be included in it in order to make it work. But that's all I got for right now, and I'll see you again soon. Thank everyone for subscribing to the channel, liking and subscribing and sharing the videos, because this gets the warnings and the messages out. I'll see you again next time.